First up, let's get all into this situation with Jay-Z. So over the weekend, there was a filing that was made in amongst all of this Diddy drama from October of this year that alleged that a 13-year-old attended the attended an after party for the 2000 VMAs solo. She just went out, was trying to get into the VMAs, met a limo driver who actually allegedly worked for Diddy and said, "Hey, I can't get you into the VMAs." The story is that she met this limo driver. They went to this after party that Diddy was having, and she alleged that she was assaulted. Someone gave her a drink. The drink was not specifically, as the petition reads, specifically for her per se. So don't know if she is implying in this filing that, you know, the whole environment was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or if her specifically, but she alleged that she went into a bedroom to lay down and Diddy and celebrities B and C assaulted her. Celebrity C was allegedly a female celebrity, and A and B alleged to have taken turns. Well, in the refiled motion, it has been revealed that that individual is allegedly Jay-Z. But Jay-Z was already aware of this because Tony Buzbee had reached out to him. If you aren't familiar with Tony Buzbee, I've talked about this before. He is a lawyer. He's based in, I believe it is Texas. He was heavily involved in lawsuits against former NFL Texans star Deshaun Watson, where it was like a bunch of masseuses claimed that Deshaun was inappropriate with them during these situations. Tony Buzbee has been sued before for what has been deemed inappropriate measures in these so-called lawsuits. He has been referred to by some as an ambulance chaser. So the jury's still out on whether that is true or not, but he is an irritant. He's the one that started the 800 line for Diddy, etc., for these cases. So he had reached out to Jay-Z's people a few months ago, his attorney, Alex Shapiro, and basically was like, "Hey, we have this individual. They say that you're involved," and requested a mediation, which Tony Buzbee was very clear that they didn't ask for money. So how could they be trying to extort him? They asked for a mediation. But let's be real. What are you mediating about? The money, a settlement, because most people don't want to go to trial. So the petition was amended from October. It's nothing new, but Jay-Z responded to the lawsuit. It was posted to the Rock Nation's Instagram account. It was soon taken down after. I really believe that this wasn't a publicist statement or anything like that because Jay, so it seems, was very much behind these words. And, there wasn't a spell check going on with it or anything like that. How does it happen? So I can say I have been obviously this took place in New York, but I have been around Hollywood. I grew up in the entertainment industry for a long time. So I know people, I know different situations where young girls or guys were out and about at different things, whether their parents worked at the industry or sometimes they convinced their parents to drop them off at certain things. I mean, if I'm being honest, back in the day, some people that I know of that will remain nameless used to go and find out where like New Edition was staying and hang out in front of the hotel. Did their parents know? Maybe, maybe not. But this was at night. The after party is at least late in the evening. The VMAs were a live show taking place starting at about 8 o'clock. So an after party would have to be after 10 or 11. So to me, that says that the environment was very, very loose. That's neither here nor there, because obviously that does not say that an individual should be allowed to be taken advantage of in any capacity because they were there. But if there is a blurred line of consensuality, the individual indicated that at the time they had to sign an NDA, which would be something that wasn't able to enforce because one, they were underage and, a parent would have to sign for them. And two, you can't enforce an NDA in place of a crime. So once again, but regardless of all that, Jay-Z's statement basically said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was that the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So, no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away, excuse me. Would you not agree? I would agree. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You are neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand in inexplicable degrees, excuse me, it is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. Forensic accountant is shouting out BBD lyrics. Backstage, underage, adolescent. Those are regrettable lyrics. BBD has said time and time again they did not write those lyrics. Busta Rhymes did. He's never explained, but again, I can explain during that time period. Listen, people say it was a different time back then, and it was. And that's not an excuse, but it just means that how things were moved very, very differently. At any rate, Jay-Z is in absolute denial of this. He has the means and the resources to go after this. This, as I mentioned, this is not Tony Buzbee's first time with being accused of having shady business practices and being an ambulance chaser, so to speak. So we will have to see what comes of that. Here's the other thing, right? The female that they are alleging in this suit that was also in the room. Remember, this is 2000. This is pre Jay and Beyonce for all of you people that are trying to find a way to stick Beyonce in this particular incident. Probably would not have been her, as she and Jay-Z weren't involved at that time. There are many names that are floating in the air about who the female celebrity could be. At that time, what I can say is that Diddy was dating a former In Living Color dancer, but we don't know if that is who they are alleging was in the room. Right now, it seems like a lot of shakedown tactics. Because here is my question with something like this. What will you bring forth as proof? I am of the agreement of the, excuse me, I am of the thought process as well as a 13-year-old child and something happened like this. She claims that when she finally got out of there, she called her father to come and pick her up. No explanation as to if they did attempt to try and file criminal charges at that time, report it to anyone, or do anything of that nature. But to me, someone attacks your 13-year-old daughter and you know about it, they were out. I would investigate further. And so far, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. So far, there's no evidence that any type of criminal complaint was filed after this alleged incident in 2000. Jay-Z has also just recently filed a motion to have the identity of this 13-year-old individual released. Now, some people are saying that this is bullying behavior, that he is victim shaming and trying to put it out there. Tony Buzbee has implied that Jay-Z has been investigating not only him, but his clients and some family and friends, which maybe it's a criminal proceeding. They are accusing him of very, very heinous things. So if you're accusing someone, don't you research it? Again, I don't know. We'll have to see how all of this plays out. But they have filed a motion that the identity of the 13 at the time alleged accusers' identity be released. Now, if you recall, something of this nature happened similarly with another Diddy. I know it's hard to keep up with all of the various Diddy lawsuits that have been put out there. Let me put a pin in that.